Hey, this is Kristen Heemstra, your college and career coach, and I want to go over the summer before senior year timeline. Super, super important time, the senior year, because that's when the applications go out. So we're going to start by talking about what needs to happen in the summer. Ideally, and this is all in an ideal world, I just want you to keep that in mind. In reality, these steps are very fluid and they all overlap. So you got that to look forward to. In an ideal world, you will have finalized your school list. So you'll know where you're going to apply. You also want to be thinking about the recommendations that you want to get from the teachers. So when you pick the teacher recommendations, you want teachers that have either taught you 2 times or are from your junior or senior year. But a lot of times junior year teachers are tapped because they've had you all year. So think about who would be good teachers to approach. You want to start the Common App. So the Common App often opens up toward the end of the prior school year. So for instance, in 2018, the Common App opened up in May. So that you, over the summer, you knew the questions, you knew how to begin to fill it out. You know, its name, it's super easy to fill out, but you do need to set some time aside to do it, name, address, all that kind of stuff. And then obviously, in addition, you're going to have the essays and the activities and awards and things like that. So you want to start the Common App, no reason not to. And you also want to make sure that your testing is where you want it to be. So usually testing is completed a lot of the time in junior year, but there are open test dates in October and November. So if you want to work on the SAT or the ACT, or if you still have some 8 SAT subject tests you want to take, now you want to do those, start finalizing those and figuring out what you need and what you're good with. When September rolls around, you're going to start working with the school. So the school has a few components. You're going to have the guidance department or your school counselor. You're going to work with them, and you're also going to work with whoever's handling transcripts. Sometimes they're the same person, sometimes they're not. When you fill out, when you approach your school counselor, we talk about brag sheets and the recommendation. Make sure that you have done a good job with those. September is a good time to sit down and really hone the details of what you want to have said. You also want to request letters of recommendation from teachers. Typically, you want to give everyone about 30 days in advance before you need something, so they have time. This is also the time to work on your essays for different schools and for your scholarship applications. Most scholarship applications have some type of an essay involved in them, so just be prepared to write a lot. So you have completed your AP testing at this point. The next round of testing will be the end of senior year, but you need to provide schools. Often schools want copies of your AP tests sent directly to them. So this is a really good time to order AP and IB scores. You can also order SAT and ACT scores if your final ones are ready to go and if your final list is put together, and get those mailed if they want them directly to the school. Now, colleges in California, they don't even want your transcript. They'll circle back around and get that at the end. They're assuming that you're going to tell the truth. And so they're going to admit you based on what you tell them, and they're not actually going to ask for a lot of information until after the fact. You, again, are going to need to have a transcript, some method to get all the data from the school to the school you're applying to. So that's often a transcript request form. Most schools, it's still paper, and you just say, hey, can you please send this to all these schools that I'm applying to? This is a time strategically to really try to solidify any relationships you have with college representatives. So emailing them, saying, hey, I'm really interested in your school. I enjoyed the talk that you did. This time of year, the fall during the school year, is when they're all recruiting. So a lot of them will be coming over to the schools that the student attends, and you, the student, want to get to those meetings. You want to get a face-to-face with the college representative, because if you look at the application itself, it's hard to really put an application on paper and have the same feeling that you do when you meet someone individually. So Really connect with your college reps as much as possible and get on campuses, visit those college campuses. Make sure that you have done your due diligence in finding the best place for yourself. So in October, in an ideal world, your essay will be done. It may not. But regardless, when it is done, you want to get it professionally edited. You want somebody who, it can be a parent, but ideally it will be someone outside who doesn't know a lot, who's going to be reading it cold. And the reason you want that is because you want a cold reader. You don't want somebody who knows you, because it's highly likely that the person reviewing your application won't know you. So this October is also the month to apply early. Now, we talk about early action and early decision in that video. So early action is not binding. In North Carolina, the early action date is October 15th. So it comes up super, super fast. And then early decision, some schools will have October dates. Most of them, frankly, are November 1st. But you do want to be thinking about that at this time. You can also start poking around the FAFSA and the CSS forms. The reason that you want to do this is because, so you're going to need access to your taxes from 2 years ago, because that's the data they're going to be pulling, and often last year's tax, or the year before taxes. So make sure you have that all accessible. And then you want to be taking any SAT 1 or SAT 2 tests, because those are super relevant, and you're getting close to the last deadline to submit any new testing. Honestly, it's late. Hopefully your testing is done by this point, but sometimes it's not. So like I said, I'm telling you ideal, but in reality, all these things often overlap with each other. Also, get to college open houses. The reason to do this is it puts you in front of the admissions professional again. You can meet all the people who are involved in the decision. You can shake hands. You can find out about majors. You can meet department chairs. There's all kinds of things that happens at a college open house that will help a student make their decision. Then you have college visits. Continue looking at campuses. Continue getting on them. Again, this is all about making sure you get the best fit you can. November is when a lot of your early decision dates happen, and a lot of early action. You want to work on those applications and essays and get everything out. And then, so I kind of clump these all together, right? In December and January is typically when you start to get responses back. Often it's around December 13th. You'll start to hear back from schools about whether or not you got in. So that's kind of exciting. And you'll hear all the way through March. If you do regular decision, typically they let you know by then. Sometimes it's an April decision. So you're going to be looking for answers from the schools. If you haven't been on a campus, let's say you apply to Caltech and you've never been there, but you think you might like it. This is the time to get out there and visit. If that's a possibility for you, so that you can get a sense of the campus before you commit. If you're an easy peasy person, it may not matter. You'll love wherever you are. That's great. Some people have definite feelings about things. I also recommend doing visits during bad weather. And here's why. Because if you go to Chicago, which has many wonderful schools in the summer, it is just stunning. It is a beautiful city. And even in the fall, it is fabulous. Chicago in the wintertime is so cold. I can't even describe it. But you definitely want to get there when the weather is doing its thing, so you're not suddenly surprised by what might be coming your way. This is also a time, December through March, when you want to send in your regular decision applications. So those dates vary from school to school, but you're going to see in that time frame is when regular applications are due. You can submit the FAFSA if you haven't already. The reason you want to do the FAFSA or the CSS is because sometimes the money is more bountiful at the beginning than it is at the end. So they're always like submit sooner. I don't know if that's really true, but nonetheless, that's what I've heard. Look for decision letters because this is when they're coming out. And here's something definitely to consider. So early decision, let's say you applied early action to Harvard. And that was your, they have all those weird caveats. And that was this school that you were really interested in. And they let you know in December that you have been deferred, which is very common. You have a choice. You can hope that when the regular applicant pool comes through that you're going to fare better, which means that you need to bolster up that application because they didn't take you the first time. You've got to give them some bright, shining reason to take you the second time. The alternative is you can consider doing early decision to somewhere else. Like you can say, all right, Harvard may not work, but I really like Emory. I really like Vanderbilt. I really like Washington University in St. Louis. There are lots of options out there. So definitely something to consider during this time if you want to give yourself a little bit of boost in the application cycle. All right, so then we're getting around April and you are going to have offers. Assuming you did at least a safe match and reach, you hopefully will have 2, if not 3 offers. Your safe should definitely be an offer. And I recommend actually applying to your safe school first because getting that first acceptance is very motivational. And it also relieves the stress a bit because you have an option. And if your safe school does not take you for some reason, then you know that maybe you're not looking safe enough and you need to go in even more, a school that takes more applicants. And then in April 2, you're going to start to really hone down and you're going to make your decision. Then you're ending, right? So you've got May. I'm going to hide myself here. I'll make myself small. Oh no, that's really big. Hi. So you are going to, in May and June, send in the deposit and send in your final transcript. The final transcript is what lets the school know that you have graduated. So you absolutely need to let them know that because they can't officially enroll you unless you have. You also need to send them money so that they can save a bed for you. Remember, everything in a school is about the beds. So you can download this document and you can use it as a checklist and go for it because this is such an exciting time.